The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. Happy New Year. We're going to kick off 2024 with a full preview of Tuesday's big 13 NHL game schedule. We've got projections and picks for Tuesday on this show. This show is sponsored by NorthStar Bets, good old Canadian sportsbook. Check them out via the link in the description below. We'll be using NorthStar Bets odds on this show, but we'll also be encouraging you to shop around, as that is, really the only way that you can win in the sports betting space is if you have multiple outs and shop around for the best odds, especially on game day when there are a lot of offerings out there. But definitely check out NorthStar Bets via the link in the description below. They offer some great odds on the next day's NHL games, which we've talked about a lot on this show this season. They've got a lot of other interesting markets, which some sportsbooks don't have offered anywhere else. So you can actually bet on team shots on goal and things like that, which I think is pretty interesting and possibly pretty lucrative if somebody wants to put in the work there. So yeah, check them out via the link in the description below. Please like the show. I know we've been away for a little bit over the holidays here, but we're happy to be back and kicking 2024 off with a bang, because I think I'm going to end up with a handful of bets today. Hopefully some winning bets in there for sure. But hopefully you all had a great holiday, a happy new year. And now it's time to get back to work. So yeah, Jake, welcome back to the show. Sounds like you didn't have as good of a holiday as you would have hoped, but it doesn't sound like you were the only one dealing with illness. So you had some company, eh?
Yeah. The whole family got a bug going around over the Christmas holiday, so it kind of derailed things. But yeah, happy New Year to you, Andy. Happy New Year to everybody watching at home. Hope you guys had a better run at it than me. But happy, healthy, ready to get 2024 started here.
For sure, yeah, and there was a lot of that. My uncle, he lives in Toronto. He actually traveled to Nova Scotia to see some of our extended family and his immediate family, and got there, found out everybody was, deathly ill with the flu, and Christmas was canceled. So he flew to Halifax to have pretty much have Christmas by himself. So yeah, definitely a lot of that over the holidays, but big slate to get into here. We'll bring the schedule breakdown up on the screen. We've got a couple of back-to-backs on Wednesday, but given that everybody had yesterday off outside of the Seattle Kraken and the Vegas Golden Knights, what a spectacle for the 2024 NHL Winter Classic. They did a really good job. Sir Mix-a-Lot was awesome. I really like that, and I just thought the entire presentation, even if the game wasn't all that great, the entire presentation of the event was really great, and they pulled it off in a pretty amazing way. So yeah, I mean, got to go to my first outdoor game this year, of course, here in Edmonton with the Flames and the Oilers on October 29th, a couple of months ago, and that was a lot of fun. Definitely a bucket list item that I'm happy to have checked off. But yeah, we've got a couple of teams. We've got the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're playing 2 games in 2 nights. Of course, they're in LA taking on the Kings on the first half of that back-to-back. Then they're in Anaheim to take on the Ducks on Wednesday. And then we've got the Capitals. Of course, they're in action against the Penguins today, and they'll be in action against the Devils, who will have had 3 days off on Wednesday. So not really a whole much in the way of the NHL schedule right now, but it's going to heat up here over the next several days. Of course, on Wednesday's show, we'll look ahead over to the rest of the week. We've got the Winnipeg Jets in the midst of playing 5 games in 7 nights, so some things to look out for there. But yeah, let's get into the projections, and I think I'm going to have some surprise bets here because things have moved around. I made some bets overnight, things like that, but I'm going to kind of start fresh here right from the start, as if I'm just kind of waking up to things now and checking these odds out for the first time. Of course, we've got 13 games on the schedule. So let's talk about the Bruins and the Blue Jackets. Boston is a big favorite, and a big reason for that, other than the Blue Jackets not being a very good team, is that they are very injured. defenseman Zach Werenski. He's expected to be out until January 25th at least. Forward Sean Corrali is also out until January 15th at least. Backup goaltender Danil Tarasov is listed day to day. Spencer Martin will be in goal for the Blue Jackets tonight. And they're already without Patrick Laine, Boone Jenner, and defenseman Adam Boquist. So this Blue Jackets lineup is very depleted. And they will have a tough time against the Boston Bruins tonight. Not a whole lot of interest there from a betting perspective. I've got this game at where do I have this at? The Bruins at minus 224. So they've got a 69.14% chance of winning this game. And if anything, their odds have gotten even a little bit better because I was not projecting Martin 100% to start this game. Didn't know if it was going to be Merzlikins or Martin, but it is going to be Martin. And that is a move in the other direction for the Blue Jackets. Doesn't help them win this game in the least. So they're going to be in tough against the Boston Bruins. Of course, the Rangers, they're hosting the Hurricanes. Not a whole lot of interest there for me on this one. The Capitals, I guess I'm going to be forced to put a bet on the Capitals here. I'm not sure if Hunter Shepard is starting in goal or what. I'm going to have to check up here and see if anything's come out on Twitter. Maybe some of you can help me out here in the chat if you've seen anything. Connor, I know you're probably in the chat right now, and you've got your eye on the NHL news this morning. So not seeing anything as of yet. Looks like Tristan Jarry expected to start Tuesday versus the Capitals. We know Brian Rust is going to play for the first time since December 6th. He's skating on the line with Malkin and Riley Smith. So that's a boost for the Penguins. But no word yet on the Capitals starting goaltender as far as I can see. We know Charlie Lindgren is actually out right now until at least January 5th by the looks of things. No word on whether TJ Oshie will return to the lineup or if Max Pacioretty will finally make his Capitals debut. Forward Sonny Milano is expected to be out until January 11th. Defenseman Martin Ferraveri is listed day to day. And as I said, goaltender Charlie Lindgren out for it looks like the rest of this week. So the Capitals, I've got, and this is a really tough game to price here because I've got Pittsburgh as a minus 146 favorite. So there might be a little bit of the model being a little bit slow to react to the Penguins, maybe experiencing a bit of a resurgence here after, really tailing off towards the end of 2023. But they have picked it up as of late. And of course, this team has had strong underlying metrics for large stretches this season, not necessarily the last month, but the Pittsburgh Penguins, they should be a big favorite versus the Washington Capitals. I'm not sure just how much of a big favorite. NorthStar Bets has the Capitals at plus 143, but there are some big prices out there, plus 155, even some plus 160, plus 158. That looks to be the best, maybe available price in the market right now. So I'm going to revisit this one in a bit. As I said, the Capitals, they're pretty banged up. I'd like to know who's starting in goal. I don't want to take a price that, in where I think it might be Darcy Kemper. I would expect it to be Darcy Kemper, but it is Hunter Shepard or somebody else that I'm not considering here. Then I would not be very happy about that one. So I'm gonna hold off here and revisit that one at the end of the live stream. Chicago Blackhawks, they're taking on the Nashville Predators. Predators defenseman Tyson Barrie, he's day to day, not sure on his status for tonight's game versus Chicago, who are currently on an 11-game road losing streak. They haven't won a road game, the Blackhawks, since November 9th. They're 2-8 straight up over their last 10 games. So no surprise to see the Predators as a big favorite. NorthStar Bets currently has the Predators at minus 270. The model has the Preds at minus 246. So no bet there. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they're in Winnipeg taking on the Jets. We don't know if defenseman Mikhail Sergachev will be in the lineup for the Lightning. He's missed the last 5 games due to injury. He and defenseman Eric Cernak are both listed as day-to-day, so that's something to look out for there. currently maybe a little bit of value showing at some spots on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Of course, Kyle Connor still out for the Winnipeg Jets, but not enough to justify a bet by any means. Plus 125 is the best price in market. The model thinks that price should be closer to plus 123, so not a big discrepancy. But I don't know about this one here. The Montreal Canadiens at the Dallas Stars. Look, the Canadiens, they're lacking depth right now, but that's been the case for a while, right, Jake?
Yeah, I mean it's been the case for past few years. They've had injury problems, but of course they're stacked up and down with kids. Not a lot of depth to come in to sort of fill that sort of in NHL veteran role that can instantly eat up a lot of minutes. And of course now they're without Christian Dvorak, and it's being tested now. I think silver lining for fans of the rebuild is that the silly notion that they might sneak into the playoffs is now fading away into the distance, and maybe now they can concentrate on being sellers like they should be, and get some more draft picks.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you look over the last 10 games, they are 4-6 straight up. And believe it or not, they've actually graded out as the 15th best team in all situations through the lens of evolving hockey's expected goals model over the last month or the last 13 games. So they've been playing well. Like what have you thought of their play in general over the last month or so?
I think I think their goaltenders have been their MVPs, all three of them this year. They kind of brought them along, and let the kids kind of play their game and make mistakes and figure things out. They're also getting a ton of production from their defense, which seems to be how Kent Hughes is sort of aiming to build out this team is defense first. So that's coming through, but the forwards, the offense is really lacking. I think it's near the basement in the league in terms of production. If it's not the last place team in the league, so eventually that's going to be exposed. Defense can't score 2-3 goals every game, so yeah, they've played well, but I think they're in for a rough patch now, losing two straight in Florida over the weekend, and it only gets tougher from here.
Yeah, so one thing I've noticed is whenever Jake doubts the Canadians, they seem to, come out and win games. So, no, I'm just joking, but I do see a little bit of value here on Montreal, and of course, this is, it's another one that's hard to price with injuries and they're piling up. The Stars have been sort of up and down. A lot of Dallas games have gone to overtime as of late. Of course, they put a absolute whooping on the Chicago Blackhawks recently, so maybe things are starting to turn in the other direction. And this is a terrible idea. But given that the model has Montreal as a plus 221 underdog, I'm going to take a flyer here on the Canadians at, you can get plus 250, plus 255 at some sports books. NorthStar Bets is plus 240, which is totally reasonable because, that's what we're seeing at a lot of sports books. BetMGM, Bet365. A lot of these sports books, DraftKings, FanDuel, or actually FanDuel's at plus 255. That is currently one of the best prices in market, but plus 240. That's a widely available price that just about anybody should be able to get. I'm going to put a half unit at on the Canadians here at plus 240 at NorthStar Bets. And hopefully it'll work out. So yeah, locking that in, half unit. I don't blame you if you do not want to partake in this one. You're probably smarter than me, but we're going to lock in zero point 0.5 units to win 1.2 units on the Montreal Canadiens at plus 240. Hopefully they can surprise some people before they likely start to kind of tail off here, as Jake alluded to, because they're going to be tested in this game and in going forward with these injuries. So it's going to be pretty tough to sustain the play they've been playing, and if Jake is right about their goaltending kind of playing over their head right now, which I think he is, then there's it's only a matter of time probably until that starts to kind of fall apart as well. Because I mean, like you said, they should be sellers, and they've got an overstock of goaltenders right now that a lot of teams in around the NHL would definitely be interested in. The Edmonton Oilers. I'm sure there are more we could think of. Even the Vegas Golden Knights with their goaltending problems. Although Robin Leonard it looks. I'm curious. I've got to look into what's going on with Robin Leonard. Is he actually, possibly coming back this season? Injury reports say that he's, expected to be out until sometime in February. I don't know what the latest is on him. I kind of forgot about Robin Leonard altogether, to be honest. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, there are at least a handful of teams around the league that would be calling the Canadians to pick up one of their goaltenders as soon as there's word that they are available if they're not already. So yeah. Anyway, the Florida Panthers and Arizona Coyotes. This is another one. I mean, it's kind of tough to bet against the Florida Panthers. I mean, I like them a lot. They're one of the best teams by expected goals, but this price is has gotten up there, and the model thinks that Arizona should be a plus 125 underdog. The Coyotes, they're 12-5 at Mullet Arena this season. The Panthers are 10-9 on the road, so yeah, they've got a winning record on the road, but it hasn't been easy for them by any means, and we've seen them um, kind of fall apart more over the last little bit than we have in the first couple of months of the season. So maybe a little bit more susceptible to playing down to some of their opponents. But yeah, Florida, Arizona should be a great game. And I'm really interested in the Coyotes here. I don't know where I want to go with this one. Plus 150 is available. We've got plus 140 widely available, and plus 138 at NorthStar Bets. But yeah, plus 140 widely available. But with Pinnacle currently sitting at plus 150. Yeah, little bit dicey there. Do I want to, there are some pretty attractive prices out there, but when you see plus 140 and you compare it to plus 150, do you really want to risk that? I don't know. Is there a plus 145 anywhere? That one is a little bit tougher to find as well. FanDuel down to plus 130. So maybe this one is it's a little bit it's kind of odd to see Penny sitting at plus 150, but yeah. Um, we could take plus 140. I feel like that is you know, like I said, pretty widely available. So yeah, I'm gonna take plus 140 on the Arizona Coyotes, and I'm going to risk, let me just check here. Ugh, I don't feel great about this one, but I'm gonna risk 1 unit on the Arizona Coyotes at plus 140. We'll lock it in at plus 138 at NorthStar Bets. There's enough value there. Um 1 unit on the Arizona Coyotes. Sorry for the long pause, but got to track the bets. So lock that one in. That is bet number 2 that's probably going to lose. uh Betting on the ugliest of ugly teams today. That's how we kick off 2024. You know what? Let's talk about one that I don't think is all that ugly. It's the Islanders and the Colorado Avalanche. I'm not going where you think I might go with this one. I kind of like the Islanders here from a numbers perspective, but I actually like the total more here. So I'm going to make this my first total play of the season, hoping to roll out some projected totals in the near future. Kind of messing around with them right now, getting things finalized. But this was one that sticks out here. I've got a projected score of 6.84 total goals for this one, and you can bet over 6.5 at minus 105. But I'm not sure that that is not the best price. You know, we've got plus 106 out there. That might be the best price right now. But even money is widely available. You should be able to find even money at some sports books. Now, some sports books are over 6 minus 125. Um, but a lot of sports books are also are over 6.5 even money. And that's what I'm going to take. It's going to be a half unit bet. And I'm going to explain a little bit why here right away. But yeah, the Islanders. I mean, look, the NHL is changing, right? It's a different game than it was over the last couple of years, or a couple of years ago. Sorry, scoring is at a rate of 6.3 goals per game in consecutive calendar years for the first time in 3 decades. And the Islanders, they're a different team too than they were a couple of years ago. They've still got great goaltending, but over the last month, they rank 22nd in goals against in all situations. So that's just outside the bottom 10. They do rank among the top 10 teams when it comes to scoring, though, during that stretch. New York is 60% to the over this season. Colorado has scored more goals per game than any team over the last 10 games. And the Avs are also about 53% to the over this season as well. Colorado, I mean, they're lacking some depth right now with Ross Colton, Naturi Lehkonen out of the lineup, and the Islanders. They're lacking depth on the blue line with Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech, two of their most important defensemen, out of the lineup right now. Not expected to be in the lineup on Tuesday. So I'm going over 6.5 at even money for this game. Half unit play on the Islanders. That's my third bet for the day. So racking them up fast. Got over 6.5 even money. New York Islanders at the Colorado Avalanche. We've got the Arizona Coyotes plus 138 on the money line. Or that's a 1 unit play actually to win 1.38 units to beat the Florida Panthers at home, and the Montreal Canadiens to beat the Dallas Stars. Half unit play to win 1.2 units on the road in Dallas. God, this is shaping up to be an ugly one, especially if I end up adding the Capitals here, because we've seen how they've played recently. Maybe I'm just not good at this. Maybe I'm just Jake. What do you think? Maybe are you just like, what's this guy doing? Is he just not good at this?
Hey, I mean, you're betting the Habs when even I don't think they're going to win. So something's going on.
Well,
Something's in the
I
water.
don't think they're gonna win either.
No,
And
no,
in
no.
fact,
I'm just teasing, but yeah,
I've made a
we're
lot of
taking
bets this
swings.
season that have been bets that shouldn't have won that have won. So um, let's we'll stick to the process here. What do you think about the Toronto Maple Leafs goaltending situation? Of course, they placed Ilya Samsonov on waivers. He cleared, obviously. They called up Dennis Hildeby from the American Hockey League. He posted a 919 save percentage, 2.2 goals against average in 15 AHL games this season. I believe that was second best in the AHL. He's put up some impressive numbers in Sweden, but he is still a 22-year-old goaltender who has yet to play an NHL game. So, yeah, I mean, temper your expectations, right? What do you think, Jake?
I mean, it's good news for Hilderby. He comes in right at the right time to go on a California road trip, whether he gets into a game or not. But yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess in Toronto. I don't really know what they're gonna do about it. I'm sure nobody saw um, Samsonov on waivers when the season started. But yeah, they're grasping at straws here. Good luck to the kid if he does get in, because Leafs Nation is going to tear him apart if he looks ugly. But yeah, it's a hard one to kind of decipher what they're going to do.
Yeah, yeah. The Leafland is putting their hope in something that they shouldn't be putting their hope into, right? So, yeah, it's kind of gone off the rails. I mean, the Leafs only have what 2 wins in their last. Let me see here. I've got the last 10 up here. So Toronto has, geez, just 3 wins in their last 10 games. They are 3-4-3. So still going to overtime quite a bit. Yeah. And I mean, their underlying metrics are not really, really strong by any means. And I've got them. Where do I have them right now currently as far as my power rating goes? 14th in the NHL. Like that's not, that's nothing to write home about. Nothing to be excited about, that's for sure. So yeah, looking back at my preseason predictions, man, I thought, I obviously thought Boston was going to take a step back. Thought the Panthers were going to take a step back too, and I thought that would benefit the Maple Leafs. It has not. That has not been the case. Thankfully, I didn't put any, my money where my mouth was when it came to the Toronto Maple Leafs because my projections pretty much lined up with the betting market. Although I did take some Maple Leafs to win the Atlantic Division, which was a pretty bad bet in hindsight. So yeah, but I want to look. We're going to talk about futures on Wednesday's show and go through some of that. But I do want to check on just where the Florida Panthers uh, Atlantic Division odds are because um, just a couple of days ago, last week, I updated the strength of schedule page over at CanadaSportsBetting.com, and the Panthers stuck out because one, the Boston Bruins have arguably the toughest schedule according to our strength of schedule metric, but arguably a very tough schedule no matter how you look at it. So of the remaining schedules, the Bruins have the toughest. The Panthers, they're not in the easy category by any mean, but they are on the easier end of the tough schedule. So Florida, I mean, is it the best chance or is it the last good chance to back the Florida Panthers to win the Atlantic Division? They're down to plus 250. So just a few days ago, they were plus 325. Boston still the favorite at minus 134. But that schedule and the Panthers having an easier schedule and are being a better team than the Boston Bruins, in my opinion, and according to my model. I think you've got to start to consider Florida at this point if you have not already, because they've got uh they've got the second best chance, a 40% chance of finishing first in the Atlantic Division. Boston has a 49% chance, according to the model. In Toronto, they've got a 7% chance. So it's really a two-horse race here, unless things really start to turn around for the Toronto Maple Leafs and Florida Panthers. A 40% chance. That implies that they'll win a lot more than the plus 250 odds suggest. Shop around, of course, but maybe something to look at there in the futures market. Of course, Boston. I mean, they've got it. Not only do they have a tough schedule, but they had a really easy schedule to start, and they benefited from that, and they make good on it. But there's no guarantees that they can continue to be an above 500 team for long stretches, given how they've sort of tailed off in the last little bit. I'm just going to pull that up really bit because I do find it interesting. Boston has been a team, kind of a case study, right? You take away Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci, and what they've been able to do this season has been remarkable. But um, we could be, we could be in for a big surprise in the second half because the Bruins have 46.2% expected goals percentage in all situations over the last month. Sure, they've scored 52.4% of the goals, but yeah, that ranks 28th in the NHL. So they're down there with the Ducks, the Sharks, the Blue Jackets, and the Blackhawks in terms of their expected goals percentage at all situations over the last 31 days. So that is, not a good place to be, especially with the schedule toughening up. Of course, the Bruins could make a move, but they are, sort of limited when it comes to the what they could do in the trade market, and it's going to be interesting to see just how whether or not they're able to hold on. I don't really. I look at my model and I understand why it has the Bruins as a favorite to win the Atlantic Division, but that's conditional on them um, being good down the stretch, and it really doesn't look like they will be. So yeah, something to watch out for there. But I'm suspecting the Bruins will take a bit of a dive here in the second half of the season, and I know that makes Jake happy.
Well, it does. Yeah, I wasn't really expecting them to be as good. I guess nobody was expecting them to be as good early in the season, but as you said, the strength of schedule certainly helped them out. But yeah, seeing them fade brings a smile to my face. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean they had a really really easy stretch. A couple of games against Chicago, the Ducks, the Sharks. They played the worst teams in the NHL. They went 7-1 I think in October. They've racked up 50 points in 35 games played. They've got a .714 points percentage, but Florida Panthers, they're right there. They've got one more game played than the Boston Bruins, but they're only 4 games behind. I'm hoping they lose tonight, obviously, as I've got the Coyotes on the money line, but a .639 points percentage. So this race could heat up pretty quick, like it has as of late. So I'm going to be watching that one for sure. I've got some action on the Panthers now to win the Atlantic Division, sort of unofficially, but yeah. Um, I'm in on the Panthers for sure, and they've been good to me this season overall. So, keeping it going here. Do I have anything else that I want to get to? Vancouver Canucks. That is a game that I'm considering. Of course, the odds minus 154 at NorthStar. That's too high because they are minus 145. Yeah, minus 145 and minus 150 at a lot of places, but minus 145 is available. That is something that I can take here. And given that the model thinks that Vancouver should be sorry. Yeah, Vancouver minus 160. So at minus 145, definitely got some interest there. Let's just look here quickly. And yeah, I'm going to lock in the Canucks at minus 145 to win 1 unit. I don't got a lot of faith in this Senators team. Now, I know Thomas Shabbat is back in the lineup, and that increases the Senators' chances of winning. He returned on December 31st, his first game since December 2nd, picked up 2 helpers in the team's 5-1 win over the Sabres. They haven't had much success against the Canucks as a franchise over the last several years in Vancouver. They've only beat the Canucks on the road in twice since 2019. I don't know how much that matters, but makes me feel a little bit better about this one uh, in some way, shape, or form. And so I'm going to lock in the Canucks at minus 145 to beat the Ottawa Senators, who, yeah, I know they've been playing better lately, but man, this team is bad. I actually had um, an odds maker reach out to me recently, a hockey odds maker reach out and asked me how many teams I thought were better or were worse than the Senators. Sorry. And I didn't have an answer for him off the top of my head. It was over the holidays, but he said that he only had 2 teams that he thought were worse than the Senators. So depending on who you talk to, there are definitely varying opinions out there on this Ottawa Senators team because I know some sports bettors are high on them right now. That's probably why we're able to get the odds on the Canucks that we are able to get it. So minus 145, locking that in on the Vancouver Canucks, and yeah, hopefully they can take out the Ottawa Senators. The model thinks they should be minus 160 to win 1 unit. And I mean, do I want to add, do it like, do I really want to add the Washington Capitals? This is one of those things where it's like, God damn. I wish I could bet teams and not numbers sometimes. So, Marcus Foligno going to be a game time decision tonight versus Calgary. So, did I skip over the Wild game? I believe I did. I want to circle back to this one because while we did miss the opportunity to bet the Minnesota Wild, at least in my opinion, or to bet on the Calgary Flames, sorry, at least in my opinion, because look, NorthStar Bets up to minus 114. A lot of other sports books have moved on the Calgary Flames because we learned that Kirill Kaprizov is out 1 to 2 weeks. That's on top of goaltender Philip Gustafsson that's been out 1 to 2 weeks. And the Wild, they're already without Matt Zuccarello and Jonas Brodin, who have yet to make their returns to the lineup, although I believe both are eligible to return today. Don't know if either will. Jared Spurgeon did return to the lineup recently, but Wild, they're in tough, and it's not a super tough stretch of games that they have coming up, but frankly, I think that this injury, these injury troubles that they've run into have, made them an underdog in games that they would have otherwise been a favorite in, and that's going to hurt their playoff chances a lot, which are at 30% right now, according to the Canada Sports Betting projection model. You can check that out at canadasportsbetting.ca/NHL-projections. That is updated as of January 2nd. You can see playoff probabilities, playoff chances, Stanley Cup chances, etc., and projected points, of course. But yeah, that's it's going to be a tough stretch for the Minnesota Wild here. They've got a 30% chance of making the playoffs. That varies depending on who you talk to. I know I looked at Don Luszczyszyn's projections over at The Athletic yesterday, I believe, and he had the Wild with a 38% chance of making the playoffs. But one thing that stuck out to me, I just happened to check out moneypuck.com this morning. I don't do it every day, but I did have a look this morning. They've got the Wild 57% to beat the Calgary Flames tonight. Like this website cannot be taking recent injuries into account. Maybe they're not even taking injuries that aren't recent, like Matt Zuccarello, into account. But with Philip Gustafsson out of the lineup, with Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Zuccarello out of the lineup, Jonas Brodin. It's absolutely crazy to make the Wild a 57% favorite. I'm not high on the Calgary Flames, but my model has the Flames as a minus 111 favorite, so they've got a 52.5% chance of winning. Just wanted to touch on that with all the injuries going on in Minnesota right now. Should be an interesting one. Would be a big win for Minnesota if they are able to get this win tonight, but I don't think that will happen um, often. So yeah, looking like that's just about it for today. Um, but I'm hoping to see some news here on the Capitals goaltending. You know what? I'm not going to add on the Capitals. That I'm just going to make the responsible decision here, and I'm not going to add a bet on the Capitals until I have word uh, on the starting goaltending situation, because I think it means a lot here. Darcy Kemper, that's a big downgrade from going to a goaltender like Hunter Shepard. So yeah, I'm just seeing if they've got anything. No, we don't have anything. We've got Tristan Jarry confirmed for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Darcy Kemper looks like the goaltender that most outlets are listing as the projected starting goaltender for this game. So I'm gonna hold off on this one, and I'm gonna jump on the Capitals. I don't want to make it sound like it's a great opportunity to win a bet here. It's not, but it is a good opportunity to get some value, and hopefully, if the Caps can pull off the upset, then there will be something there. But yeah, that does it for today's episode of the Puck Portfolio. Unless we've got anything in the chat that we should get to, Jake.
People just arguing whether Vancouver are frauds or not. It's frauds or gods basically all season
People are
long for
arguing.
Vancouver. Well, not so much arguing, but arguing sounds better. And then Connor coming in hot saying Ottawa is better than and Anaheim, Chicago, and San Jose, and probably equal with Montreal and Columbus. I disagree with one of those, but that's his take at least.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like at this point, yeah, the Canucks, they like there is going to be a reckoning here at some point, and maybe it'll happen in the playoffs. But they've got a 61.5% goals for percentage at 5-on-5 this season, and like it's you. We can talk about under like I value expected goals. I do. I value Corsi and Fenwick and all of these categories that people talk about the Canucks not being that good in. But at the end of the day, they've have been outscoring teams 3.2 to 2. So over a goal, 1.2 goals per 60 minutes as far as their goal differential. And you can't ignore that. And Ottawa, they're coming around, sure, but this team is still their own worst enemy. They're still just a break-even team at best, and they're a team that has a lot of holes defensively with or without Thomas Shabbat back in the lineup. So yeah, I mean, I don't expect the Senators to turn anything around anytime soon. And was anybody else kind of surprised to see Dave Poulin announced as the what was he, the president of hockey operations or something like that?
Yeah,
I don't
VP or
know.
something or other. It's weird.
He does
It's a
not strike
bizarre
me.
troop.
I've not. I've look. I don't watch a ton of hockey media. Like I'm not watching. I'm not glued to my TV watching TSN every day and hearing what these guys have to say. But when Dave Poulin does come across, and I don't like. I really especially after being on TV, I do not like to crap on people that are have that job, because it is a tough job. But he just strikes me as not that smart of a person. I don't know. He like when I watch his analysis on TV, he strikes me as somebody who's really talking out of his ass most days, and I was a bit surprised to see him elevated to such a role. But then again, the Senators are sort of a joke organization at the end of the day. So
It's a bit funny after like Melnick got clowned on for hiring Pierre Maguire, after watching him on TV for a while, and then the new ownership comes in and does the same thing with Poulin. So more of the same in Ottawa.
yeah, no, that's for sure. And I mean, I saw a lot of people actually kind of like cheering the move. So maybe it's not so the move isn't, disliked in Ottawa, but to an outsider it seems really strange. If you want to turn your team around, I would look elsewhere. So, but yeah, that pretty much does it for today's episode. I'm going to recap what are, I guess a handful of picks now almost. Got the Montreal Canadiens plus 240 on the money line, half unit play to win 1.2 units. I've got the Arizona Coyotes plus 230, plus 138. I wish it was plus 238. 1 unit to win 1.3 units. I've got a half unit bet on the over 6.5 goals in Islanders and Colorado game. That is at even money. And Ottawa at Vancouver. I took the Canucks minus 145 to win 1 unit on the Vancouver Canucks. Man, I see 5 replies on my tweet announcing today's episode of the Puck Portfolio. And I can't see any of them because I'm guessing they're all Telegram sports betting bots, because that's the only kind of interaction you get on Twitter most days. Porn bots and Telegram sports betting link in bio bots. Oh, gotta love this website. Just gets worse every day. But yeah, if you guys don't mind, please share the show on Twitter. Helps out a lot. Really, really appreciate that. Please like the show. Please subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel. We're going to be back on Wednesday. I know normally we look ahead to the next day's NHL games, but there are only 2 games on Wednesday. So give us a little something to talk about before heading over to look at Thursday's NHL games, which we will do on Wednesday's show. So please tune in tomorrow if you can. We'll be here, same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, good luck with your bets tonight. Hopefully some underdogs come through, and we will see you on Wednesday.